In this course, we've looked at a lot of plugins, and of course there are many, many more for WordPress. And you can see how very, very important they are to providing your clients with additional functionality for their WordPress site. Now, creating your own plugin is actually very, very straightforward. The question you're probably asking is, why would I create a plugin? The main reason for doing this is that the functionality you want for this plugin really needs to be theme independent. In other words, you don't want to be relying on the client remembering to keep the theme, or if they create a new theme, to copy all the contents over and keep the functionality. Being a plugin keeps it separate from being in the theme. Similarly, if the functionality is way too complex to take up even part of the functions.php file or a number of files within the theme, it's much easier to make it into a plugin. Same if you want a special interface in the admin area. Just like plugins have their own interface quite often, you probably want something special for this functionality. Much easier to just make it a plugin. And of course, maybe you want to share this eventually with the WordPress community because it's such a good function. Anyway, those are a few reasons for creating a plugin. Now, in terms of learning how to do a plugin, there's actually a really good example in every single edition of WordPress. It's called hello.php. And you may have seen this in the WordPress directory. When you first open WordPress, there are two plugins there, Akismet and Hello Dolly. Let's take a look here. There it is right down there, Hello Dolly. And this was originally created by, of course, the primary developer of WordPress, Matt Mullenweg, and he's left it in there for us to see exactly how a plugin is done. Let's actually go and activate Hello Dolly so we get a bit of a sense of what it's doing here. If you've never tried this, you'll see up at the top here, and every time we refresh the page, there'll be a new lyric from Hello Dolly. Okay, it doesn't do much, but it does enough that it gives us a sense of how a plugin works. So let's go back over here and look at this. Now you'll notice this is similar to a child theme. There's a lot of commented material up at the top here. The only one you absolutely have to have is plugin name. All right, and this needs to be distinct along with the name of the file, and certainly if you have more than one file, the name of the folder. This has to be distinct because you cannot have a clash with other plugins. And there are, 14,000, 15,000 plugins. It could be easy to clash with them. So you want to check and make sure you've got a unique name there. All right, you can put in other information about you and so forth. Then we get into things here with a function right off the bat. Here's all the lyrics to Hello Dolly. And we do all kinds of things. This splits it into individual lines, for example. This randomizes and picks one line. This takes that line and puts it into a paragraph tag with an ID. All right, then this is where the work comes in for hooking into WordPress. We're doing an add action here into the admin notices hook. Hello Dolly, there's our function that we're calling. And we need some CSS to position the paragraph. We create a function for that to generate it, and then we hook it into the header right here, admin head. That's our hook in there for that particular function. Okay, so that's what it's doing. Pretty straightforward. Not a lot to it, but it gives you all the basics of hooking into things, creating functions, and so forth. Let's do one of our own. If I go back over to here, I want to create a new taxonomy for my website. So I'm going to attach it to posts, and I'm going to use a plugin to do it because I don't want it to be part of my theme. I want it to be something that stays even when the theme is gone. So I'm going to call it My Custom Taxonomies. A little bit of a description to tell us what it's doing and so forth. And here's my hook to get it into WordPress. Use the init hook, and I create a function called register all taxonomies because I may have more down the road that I want to add, but right now I've got this one taxonomy I'm going to add called portfolio. And I've got various factors in there. We'll talk more about custom taxonomies later on. Okay, I save it. Remember, it's just a single file. A plugin can be just one file. Quite often, most of the time, of course, it's a folder with a lot of different files, images, JavaScript, all sorts of things. So let's go down here, and there it is, My Custom Taxonomies. There it is, and I just activate it from here. And as soon as I activate it, now my portfolio's taxonomy shows up under posts. Very, very easy, very simple to do, and I can just go back I can go back to my plugins and just deactivate it if I want. Very, very simple to take it out. Again, I haven't had to touch my theme to do any of this, so it makes a lot of sense to put something like this into a plugin. There you go. It's that easy to create your very own plugin, and maybe eventually you'll share it with the rest of the world at the WordPress.org site.